kill list from the suspected UCLA shooter. This after the murder-suicide that locked down the UCLA campus about this time yesterday. Police have found another victim, a woman, dead in Minnesota. In addition to the first victim, UCLA engineering professor William Klug. A police news conference in suburban Minneapolis is scheduled to begin any moment. In fact, it has just started. Let's listen in.
Start by saying it's going to be very difficult for me to answer questions when I am done with my statement. I hope you're respectful of that, being that we're trying to coordinate our efforts between Minnesota and California with this investigation, which is very complex. And then in addition, it's a very sensitive issue that we are investigating, and we are very early in our investigation, so it's going to be very limited information that I'm going to be able to provide to you at this time. What I can tell you is very early this morning, just after midnight, LAPD had called the Brooklyn Park Police Department requesting assistance on a welfare check. They indicated that this was related to the recent UCLA shooting, and they also indicated that the female that lived at this address in Brooklyn Park was on a hit list that they believe was created by the shooter in the UCLA incident. Brooklyn Park officers responded to the 2400 block of Pearson Parkway at a residence and made a welfare check where they did locate an adult female who was found deceased from a apparent gunshot wound. Subsequently, an homicide investigation is being conducted with the assistance of the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office and the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office. There is, again, very limited information I can provide beyond what I have told you at this point, being that it is very early in the investigation. What I can tell you is we have multiple detectives working on this case, and we're working with Los Angeles Police Department to coordinate our efforts.
Do you know anything about the relationship between the shooter and the victim?
I do not.
Any early indications on how long this woman's body was inside that house?
What I can tell you is we believe at this point that she was deceased prior to the UCLA shooting. But because we're so early in the investigation, the timing we don't know exactly at this point.
And no other calls have come in this week on her well-being, and no one heard any noise up at the
That's correct. No other calls this week to that home.
Have you guys ever gotten any disturbance calls or any domestic, calls to that address prior to this?
Not in the recent past, meaning in the last couple of weeks, the answer is no. Previous to that, I don't know the detectives working on the case will be able to come up with that in the near future. What I can tell you is as information is unfolded over the next couple of days, we will work hard to get that out to you as quickly as possible without jeopardizing the actual investigation. Again, I want to thank all of you for coming today, and that'll end the press conference. Thank you.
All right, so you just heard the latest there. The body of a woman found in near Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, believed to have been acquainted, obviously, with the shooter in the UCLA attack yesterday. Police found a kill list. It had her name on it when they went to check her house. She was found dead, apparently, of gunshot wounds. Senior correspondent Adam Housley has more on this terrible case. He is live in Los Angeles for us. Adam?
Yeah, John, we didn't get much from that press conference. We are expecting more in about a half an hour here in Southern California when Chief Charlie Beck from LAPD will be giving a press conference, and he's been very open about what they found so far. Between what he said and our sources here on the ground that are covering this case, here's what went down. About 24 hours ago, almost exactly, is when it was chaos here. Shots were fired, at least 3, in the building behind me on the 4th floor. For about an hour and a half, we saw hundreds of officers come in here, most of them in armor, and then at that point, they finally got to the room where this happened, and they found the suspect, Manek Sarkar, and William Klug was the professor, who both were dead, and there was a note found there. That note said, "Check on my cats," with an address in the area of Minneapolis. I'm told when they went to that address to check on the cats, they found another note with a kill list with 3 names on it. The names included Klug, the professor here, a female. I cannot confirm what the third name was, but the female was apparently either an acquaintance or an old girlfriend, a female that he knew in that area of Minnesota. They went to her home, as you heard. That's about the only thing they told us in the press conference, and they found her shot and killed there. So obviously this takes a completely different turn now with that. Federal authorities are now involved. You're talking about 2 different states. The investigation has spread a long ways. We don't know how long she had been dead for, but clearly this was a very far in advance planned attack in the sense that you'd had to travel from Minnesota here to then go into this building and shoot William Klug. As for the professor, a heartbroken as an understatement, not only for his family, but many here in the engineering department. He was very well liked, a younger professor, from all accounts, a quiet, gentle guy who supported all of his students. He was a baseball coach in El Segundo, California, a Little League baseball coach, went to Dodgers games, a very well thought of professor who was shot and killed yesterday, murdered, allegedly, by the suspect. And there has been some rantings that were online and blog posts that were pulled down that I've read, where they go into random directions, blaming him for things that really made no sense. And that's kind of where authorities are going. That clearly this guy may have had some mental issues, and that led to this because of the way they look at those rantings online. But John, a lot of questions here still unanswered. We do expect Charlie Beck to speak in about 25 minutes here in Southern California, and he has been very open about giving information in this case. So we do expect more information from him than we got from Brooklyn Park in Minnesota.
Also, they say that the police in LA are looking for help in finding the Nissan Sentra that Sarkar apparently drove from Minnesota to Los Angeles ahead of the killing.
Right, and we've also been told that the third person's name on the list was found safe. Now, there's been different accounts of where that person was. Was it a professor here? Was it a female? We expect to get clarification from Charlie Beck. They do want to find that car. Maybe there's more notes or more information in there. When they went to his residence here in Los Angeles, they didn't find anything last night in there of note. They actually took in the bomb squad in case it was booby-trapped. Thankfully, they didn't find any explosives or anything, but they did, of course, find the lead that took them back to Minnesota to where the cats were, to where obviously they eventually found the woman's body who was deceased. She was shot and killed, John.
More details to come from that LA news conference. Adam Housley. Adam, thank you.
All right.